You think a millennial and Gen Z, first off, a 22-year-old girl would even want to come near Andrew Cuomo?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring, and George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? It's the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. Now, we're going to give an intelligent look and have an intelligent conversation about the state of America, state of the state, state of the city, how messed up things may be presently, how potentially worse they could get in the near future, and how you, yes, you, have the power to stop it. All right, we'll start by going on a national scale. We'll take a look at how things are going on the national scale. We have the tariffs are working. The price of their precious eggs are coming down, and the prices of fuel have not climbed in months. They came down and they've been holding steadily, roughly at the prices that they're at now, but they haven't climbed, and that is no thanks to the Democrats. Democrats are not good at turning a bad economy good. They're not good at that. There was one exception to the rule. You had FDR, and I will credit FDR for saving the country from the Great Depression. But it was his successor, Harry Truman, that had the cojones to save us from World War II. And he deserves the credit for being the president that ended World War II. Of course, it took some help from his generals like Douglas MacArthur, George S. Patton, and Dwight David Eisenhower. But who was commander-in-chief? But that's a little bit of history. We're talking about present state, though. Present state, tariffs are working because Donald Trump knows what the hell he's doing. This is a man who hasn't been in politics prior to running for president in 2016. And he's a better president than the career politician that's been in office the last 4 years. And he's a better president than Bernie Sanders could ever live to be, or anybody in politics referring to themselves as a democratic socialist. A democratic socialist is a socialist is a communist, and a socialist is actually worse than a fascist. Because it's not singling out particular races that determines whether or not somebody's a Nazi or a fascist. It's the icy grip around the control of the entire people. And fascist is the mildest of it. Then Nazi, then socialist, then full-on communist. And this world falling into a state in which there are no borders, no guns, no God, and no gold. And we become this world order, this one world totalitarian socialist government presiding over a society that has no borders, no guns, no God, no gold. That would be a bad thing. That would be a bad thing. People that say, I want no borders, no guns, no God, no gold, don't watch out for them. Stay the hell away from them, because they belong in prison and you don't want to be side by side with them in prison. Those people are a detriment. They are of the devil. Socialism is evil. They're for wicked losers that play Dungeons and Dragons. You're not a wicked loser that plays Dungeons and Dragons, are you? So, these here United States are in good shape. I've concluded that. I declare that. And Donald Trump did not commit sex acts with minors. Donald Trump did not do any of the lewd things that are often associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And you guys want to circulate the same 4 photos of Donald Trump with Epstein. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was the whistleblower that got Epstein arrested. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. I mentioned it in one of my previous reports. Donald Trump spearheaded or sparked the spearhead of the investigation that eventually landed Epstein in jail. But you didn't know that. You want to put him literally in bed with Jeffrey Epstein. But I'll tell you what is the truth. The truth is that the Russian collusion story was a lie. And ain't that the sad truth? And Barack Obama knew about it. He pushed the Steele dossier as factual evidence when it was a complete lie. It was comic book fiction, or fiction at comic book levels. And people like Adam Schiff kept pushing the narrative. And he's got a pardon that dates back to anything he may or may not have done from 2014 until January 1st of this year. Now, why the hell would Joe Biden do that? It's simple. He probably didn't. His handlers probably auto-ended it for him. So, kicking it down to New York State. Kathy Hochul is a huckster that refuses to lift the congestion pricing, and it's still affecting the beer. They take off the congestion pricing, you'll see $1 come off of every can and bottle of beer sold in your local bodega. I assure you. They have to add that to the cost of the customer when they have to pay the congestion pricing to ship items into New York City. Kathy Hochul is stupid. She's evil, and she didn't think this through. And Elise Stefanik is going to whoop that candy ass in November of 2026. We got the midterms on lock. We're going to secure the Senate and congressional seats, and we're going to boot a few congressmen and senators out of office, but not only that, executive offices as well, like Kathy Huckster Hochul. She's out on her ass. I'm telling you, she's out on her ass. She could easily pardon Dexter Taylor, but won't. she gave the direct order to have Freddie and Peanut killed. And she backed up Andrew Cuomo. Now she's being neutral. She's not saying who she's backing up now that Zohran Mamdani whooped Cuomo's candy ass. And speaking of that, let's kick it down to the city level. Okay. That, you saw what happened with the guy with the high-powered rifle. What was it, an AR-15? He had a chip on his shoulder about the NFL. Goes to the Black Stone building, not Black Rock, Black Stone, and shoots up the place. Turns the gun on himself on the 33rd floor, and for that moment in time, for a brief moment post-mortem, he was white. Ask any CNN anchor. And they were pushing that he was white because they wanted him to be white. Somebody on a shooting spree, they want him to be white. Well, let me tell you something, buddy boy. The stats of evil, when broken down by race, are evenly distributed. They're evenly distributed because it's not an overwhelming majority of mass shooters that are white. It's not an overwhelming majority of unarmed, innocent black men dying at the hands of angry, racist white police officers. And if you believe that, and you look at numbers and everything and still believe that, you've been lied to, and you're pushing a lie. You've been played for a fool like the Democrats. And this is why I always say the Democrats play their own constituents like fools, like stupid sheeple, and they lead their own most loyalist supporters to slaughter. I believe the right is more united because we are more critical of one another. And that's how we build, that's how we grow, that's how we cut away the dead wood. People like ugly ass bitch that I wouldn't fuck, Liz Cheney. So, city level, they wanted that narrative. They wanted to say it was a white man, and then they could not deny that it was not a white man. So now they didn't apologize. They didn't scramble. They didn't say, I'm sorry that I started shit. I'm sorry I tried to cause all the black people in New York City to start killing white people because they're angered by this mass shooter that we're saying is white but really isn't white. I'm sorry about it. CNN didn't do that. They should have, but they didn't. And also not white, because here's the thing, if they're so quick to, why are they always quick to point out if a culprit is white, but never if they're any other race but white? What is up with that? So a non-white person, matter of fact, very much a black man, drags a dead dog by the leash into the middle of the street in Queens and sets the corpse on fire. He drags a dog corpse out to the middle of the street and sets the poor dog on fire. People saw this on social media. They were outraged. Curtis Sliwa, a mayoral candidate and founder of the Guardian Angels, he was outraged. he went out and did some footwork on his own. He took a couple of hours out of his life while juggling a mayoral campaign to find this fucker. And so, finds this guy in a halfway house, I believe in the Bronx somewhere, or by the Van Wyck Expressway. Finds him, has the cops rush in, drag him out, and the guy's in custody now. If they release this man, Alvin Bragg belongs in jail, Letitia James belongs in jail, and Kathy Hochul had better step down if this man is released. He committed a dangerous crime, and that dog that he burnt up in the middle of the street could have just as easily been somebody's mother. It could have just as easily been somebody's mother. So Curtis Sliwa, he does that. He's running as a Republican and on another ticket called Save the Animals. So it's the Democratic Party, Zoran Mamdani, Republican Party, Curtis Sliwa. The next column over, Curtis Sliwa again for a party entitled Save the Animals. And then you have your other bullshit independents, one of which is Andrew Cuomo, the other is Eric Adams, who's dead last in the polls still. Eric Adams is dead last in the polls still. I mean, you could say, oh, Walden, or whatever the guy's name is. Who the hell is that guy? You know, and then there's another guy that wears clown makeup named Prince something or other. Who knows what these kooks are? You know, these people are miscellaneous kooks that aren't serious about fixing New York City. But Curtis Sliwa is. He's a serious man that should be taken seriously and should be the next mayor of New York. And you're a fucking asshole if you don't vote for him. It means you hate kittens. Any pet owner that votes for anybody other than Curtis Sliwa should have their pets taken away from them. Because under Curtis Sliwa, not only will there be harsh penalties for people like that scumbag that burned that dog in Queens, he will also make sure that every animal shelter in New York City is a no-kill shelter. Very important that the shelters be no-kill shelters, because sometimes people love their animals. They can't really take care of them. They can't afford to pay somebody else to take their animal. So they'll take their little puppy or kitten looking at them with those sad eyes and bring it to an animal shelter. And then maybe when they fall onto some better times, 3 weeks or a month later, they could come check back and they could either say, sorry, we've already found a home for your little Luna Bell or little kitty cat or whatever. But the odds are they could also say, yes, we have her right here, you know, cage B9, let me go get her for you. And a family could be reunited. But now with the no-kill shelters, I'm sorry, we haven't found a home for that mangy stray animal you dragged into here. So we turned the fucking gas on that fucking cunt. And that's how people in kill animal shelters are towards animals. They don't give a shit about who they're killing. Unless the animal, of course, is sick. But here we are, man. Here we are. I recommend, if you're going to vote for mayor, take it from me, take it from your life coach, Take it from somebody who's never boring and never weird and never stupid and certainly never gross. Me, your life coach, somebody born in the year of the people that the world belongs to, which is 1969, MC Too Tall. Yes, take it from me, vote Sliwa. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Follow and share my wonderful content. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, and goth scene ambassador out of New York City, MC Too Tall. Yaha.